And we are back with another episode of the Hockey Princess podcast. I am your host, the Hockey Princess. We have Crusty Old Guy once again. Guys, just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. This is coming out a little bit earlier than we normally drop our episodes, but that's just because of the holidays. We're going to do the same thing next week because Christy and I will be in Michigan, and I'm going to be honest, I don't want to try to put out an episode while being on the Amtrak. So you've got 2 early weeks this week and then next week. If you are going to a game this season, any hockey game at all, please wait for the whistle. Do not get up while the puck's in play. And if you're going to a Hawks game, highly recommend Su Taqueria El Rey del Taco over on Ogden. The food's fantastic. The people are fantastic. And it's only a couple of blocks away from the United Center. How you feeling, Christy?
Christy feels good. We have the Bears, thank goodness. So that's all we'll talk about, other stuff. But I feel good, a little scattered.
That's okay. Well, it's Monday. We normally don't record on Monday, so we're going to be a little all over the place. But jumping to the NHL world, which is really just a massive injury report. Because everyone is getting injured. Blackhawks are getting injured. Non-Blackhawks are getting injured. As we talked about last week, Bedard's out. We don't know until when. They say it's up to him. But guys, if it was up to him, he would have been on the ice 3 days ago. Frank the Tank is out for 4 weeks, unfortunately, taking a nasty puck to the face. Not purely McAvoy style, but close enough that it didn't look good. You got JT Miller out week to week. You've got Seth Jarvis out for, in quotation marks, as they described it, a while. Took a nasty spin right into the goalie net, and it didn't look good. It looked very painful. So we don't know what it is, but it just looked like he was in a lot of pain. Good thing is at least for Jarvie, he was able to get off the ice himself with some assistance, no stretcher, nothing crazy, but he's out for a while. You got Jack Hughes having sippy cups. He is back from the finger injury for the New Jersey Devils. After the monster trade that we talked about last week with Edmonton's goaltender and Pittsburgh's goaltender doing a big old switcheroo, now Tristan Jarry is on injured reserve. And unfortunately for the Columbus Blue Jackets, you have Zach Werenski taking a nasty bit in a game, I think it was like yesterday or Saturday, and is out. Not for a long time, but for a little bit too.
Yeah, that one, I thought that was supposed to be longer term, but I'm not hearing that yet.
No.
Because, as much as you might think that might be a huge loss, don't forget who then runs the power play for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Christy Old Guy's favorite.
Denton Matechuk. That's right.
I still think that's a pretty big...
It is. But, Krusty loves to promote his people. And right. Denton Matechuk is one of my guys already playing 20 minutes a game. The reason he doesn't have as many points as some of the other young defensemen is because Werenski runs the power play for Columbus.
Yeah.
So, but in my haste to try to pick him up in one of my fantasy leagues, then I noticed that Werenski isn't supposed to be out too long. So,
no, I think the biggest thing right now is a lot of people, there's not really a timetable on any of these injuries, but the big question, and we try not to bring it up a ton because Krusty doesn't like to talk about it too much before February, but we're getting into the injury point where it's, will any of these guys be back for Italy eating some good pasta come February? I think that's kind of the thing where it's like, okay, are you going to be out just for like a week or two? Because even if you're out for a week or two, I believe the rosters have to be sent in like a week or something crazy. Like the deadline is significantly earlier than just a week before they fly out to Italy.
Correct, but I think they have leeway. So then they're going to have leeway as far as somebody's healthy or not healthy.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's as concerning, but like Seth Jarvis's, that was a nasty one.
gnarly.
Everybody was screaming for a penalty, and had it not been overtime, I'm sure it would have been called. You're cutting in front of the net. He's trying to knock the puck away. He ends up taking out his feet, and there wasn't a ton of give on that net. He took, back in the old days, that net doesn't move. That's why people didn't go that way to the net way back when.
Right.
Because imagine that if that net doesn't even move. Exactly.
So that's kind of the big NHL world.
Well, we do have one other injury to talk about. There's somebody still not playing for Detroit.
Hey, we don't need to talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, then it doesn't exist.
Well, I got plans in like another week and something, and all of my plans go poof if somebody's not back by then. So 88, let's get back after Christmas. That's all I want for Christmas is 88 on the ice.
Hey, and I think all Showtime wants for Christmas is to be able to play against Johnny.
Okay, so let's get that done.
Yes, please.
And yeah, the little talk about the Quinn Hughes trade, and I'm here to remind everybody again that Vancouver still hasn't lost since they've traded him.
It's almost like there's big trades that can happen that can be a win-win for both teams. And it doesn't need to be an immediate who won or who lost this trade.
Yes. Again, I talked about Quinn last time, so I'm not going to talk about it this time. We got anything else on the NHL world?
Not in the NHL world. We have stuff in the world, but not the NHL world.
Well, and also, the Florida Panthers are back in playoff position, and everything is now starting to become right with the NHL world. And we are back where let's carry on.
Yeah. Let's not spin that the Florida Panthers are back. Tom Marutu is back in playoff contention. I don't need the rest of the Florida Panthers to be in playoff contention. All right. Jumping to, before we get to our prospects, because like I said, there is news in the world, not the NHL world, but in the world of hockey. So we've talked about the World Junior Championship a little bit last week and a little bit before that.
Look at that. You had it.
I know. And then it just said show for 10 seconds. And I don't want 10 seconds. I want the full time. I don't want a timer.
But then nobody's going to know who I am.
That's okay. World Juniors. Right.
All you people know who I am. Go on.
So it's kids from all over under the age of 20. It's a bunch of tiny tots skating around. This is a big deal for kids going into their draft year, for prospects, and just hockey at an international level. The Chicago Blackhawks do have a couple of potential prospects for World Juniors. Usually, like I said, this starts on Boxing Day and then will go till about like the first week of January. And this year they are in Minneapolis and St. Paul. They're fluctuating between Grand Casino Arena, which is where the Wild play, and Mariucci, which is where it's at the U. So they're fluctuating between those two rinks throughout those couple of weeks. For Blackhawk prospects, as of right now, AJ Spelliscy is still listed for Team USA. He hasn't really played for the preliminary games that they've been doing so far, but he's still on the roster as of right now. Big other two that are going to be on the roster for their countries, and I would imagine a substantial part of their rosters is you're looking at Sweden and you're looking at Czechia. Sweden is Anton Frendell. He has the A for World Juniors for Team Sweden. That was announced today. And then you've got Vaclavna Strassel, who is also a draft pick last year in the first round. That will be a piece for Czechia. Because this is the Hockey Princess podcast. And what would the Hockey Princess podcast be without some really, really, really early draft knowledge? So with the World Juniors, you've got a couple of guys who are going to be eligible for the upcoming draft if you want to keep an eye out like I do. Most obvious one is you've got Gavin McKenna for Team Canada, projected to go number 1 next year. And to anyone in Section 330, anytime the Spencer Knight lets up a goal and screams, "We want McKenna," go home. McKenna obviously is going to be the top line for Team Canada. You've got Ivar Stenberg, who is set to be, at this point, I've seen him anywhere between 3 and 6 projected for the upcoming draft, is going to be for Team Sweden. I believe he will be playing with Frundell. You've got Keaton Verhoff, right-handed defenseman, top defenseman for next year's draft, plays for University of North Dakota, but he will be with Team Canada. You've got Carson Carells, again, for Team Canada, another defenseman. He's kind of like the next defenseman after Verhoff. You've got Brady Noling, which is a goaltender. I imagine he will not play just because with Team USA for goaltenders, it's pretty much Nicholas Kempf's net until if he wets the bed, and Kempf is a draft pick for the Washington Capitals from a couple of years ago. Other ones is you've got Viggo Bjork for playing the SHL with Sweden, and then you've got Oliver Suvanto, who's kind of rumored right now where that Florida first round pick might be if we still have it, and he is going to be playing for Team Finland. So a lot of guys to keep an eye out for. Everybody's kind of frothing at the mouth to see what Team Canada does. I am very curious. My eyes on Team Sweden.
Well, number one, I really like how you slipped in a Finn.
Always. It wouldn't be me without finding who's the top Finn for World Juniors.
And it's time for a three-peat, isn't it?
No way. Finland
This
back
will
with
be
the revenge.
A three-peat for
Finland
the
back.
USA. Three. Take that, Canada. Yeah, it should be some good hockey. Had it not been at a time when I'm traveling other places, I might have thought about going up. I did look at tickets. And for the non-US and Canada games, it's, you're able to do something there. I was really hoping this was not going to happen this year, where the big thing is now to start looking at World Juniors and to start prepping for the draft, which is exactly where we're at.
I mean, I can't help it.
Yeah, I'm over it. I am completely over it. Granted, I'll be watching, but I was hoping I wouldn't be watching with such interest. But it'll be very good hockey. So I know Vaneker was left off. He got a little invite and then was left off. We'll see.
It still blows my mind, and why I will not be cheering for Team Canada. One, because Canada. And two, if you're Team Canada, you leave off not just Merrick Vaneker, but you leave off the top 2 point-producing kids in the OHL right now. Top 2. Number 1, Merrick Vaneker. Number 2, Jake O'Brien. Big swing and a miss.
Yeah, I don't quite understand it. They've been caught lately with the "we are smarter than everybody else" thing,
and they're not.
Well, there is nobody that is. Okay, so everybody gets their time and everything else. You walk around thinking you're smarter than everybody else. Usually that has bad consequences. But as you stated, we've got people across the pond that we'll have a big eye on. I mean, everybody will be foaming at the mouth now to see what Frundell does on a main stage against people his own age. And what I expect some domination.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see what Nostrassel does.
Me too.
Should be very, very exciting. For those that are wondering, Hockey Princess, how do I watch this? There are a couple of ways. One, obviously, if you have cable, NHL Network will have it. If you would like a free trial for Fubo TV, they will also have it. Or if you are like me and you watch the kiddos in Rockford or whatever other league and you have a Flow Sports, Flow Hockey subscription, you will be able to watch World Juniors. It's included in your subscription, which I think is the greatest thing, because you're telling me for $150 for a year, I get to watch AHL, USHL, OHL, the Q, the W, and World Juniors. This is great. NHL, take notes.
Well, they won't be. They want your money. So they want a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping to hop on and be able to watch that somehow. As a man who's sworn off cable for the last 2 years, I will figure out a way to get it done. Thank you, Hockey Princess. So, but it should be some good hockey, and that starts when?
December 26th.
Okay. So something beautiful to do the day after Christmas.
Absolutely. Jumping to, again, before we get to our prospects, because there was a game this weekend, and it was great. PWHL came to Chicago. It was Minnesota Frost versus Ottawa Charge. You had two hometown homecomings. You had Kendall Coyne for the Minnesota Frost, but you also had Taylor House, who is from the Joliet area, I believe, who plays for the Ottawa Charge. So that was very cool. They were at the Wolves game the night prior, so Saturday night, doing like autograph signings and just meeting people at the Wolves game. They had skates throughout the weekend with like other tiny tot crews sort of thing, which was very cool. Once again, shout out to Babe Sports Bar for getting us a party bus to go out there. The party bus vibes were immaculate. So much fun. It was very great. I know there were a lot of critiques from some mainstream media reporters about the event, and that it was a smaller size. It was below expectations. It did not sell out the Allstate. I will not pretend that it did. It did not sell out the Allstate, but that is the most packed I have ever seen the Allstate Arena for a hockey game in 5 years, at least since COVID. My memory is not the best of going to Wolves games pre-COVID, just because I'm personally not the biggest Allstate Arena fan. That is the most crowded I've seen that barn. Also, they chose to have it at the Allstate, which, for those who don't know, for those who are not in the Chicagoland area, if you do not drive, it is an absolute nightmare to get out there. It is wildly inaccessible for individuals that do not have a car, or have a friend that have a car, or know of a really, really awesome sports bar that has a party bus to get out there. And it was the Sunday before Christmas. It still was a very lively bunch. The entire first bowl was sold out, and then there were folks kind of at like that center ice in the second bowl. Very, very fun. It was just a great time. Great hockey. Yeah, I didn't appreciate the immediate negativity about the event from some media, because that's still a bigger audience than I've seen for any other men's hockey game that's been at the Allstate for years. But it was absolutely great. Can't wait to see the PWHL come back, because they will be back, I believe, March 25th. It is the New York Sirens versus the Seattle Torrent.
And when's that?
March 25th.
Yeah, and you'll get a better understanding. You have to take into account it's the weekend before Christmas, and there's a lot of plans already being made. As we've talked on this show about supposedly the PHL coming to Chicago. As I've stated before, that's the crux. That's the problem. Where do they play? That's the time, because you point out the Rosemont is. That's just dating myself. The Rosemont.
You can't get there.
It's difficult to get to, and you're also still competing with lower dollar events against the Wolves. It's difficult. I think the city is able to vibe wise maybe support it, but it needs a other rink in the city, and I don't know if we actually have that. I don't know if the U of I rink would be a feasible spot. I don't know.
I wish they could have a rink like right under, like, do United Center style with the basketball and then the rink underneath where the Sky play, because that would be easier.
Yeah. So and again, yeah, some people said, it's a big push to get a team. The turnout could have been. I wouldn't worry about that. It's the passion of the base that will decide that.
Yeah.
If they're being thought of. I mean, that's all run through the people that you had on board from Seattle. Gave a couple good things of talking about how they got their team, their stuff beforehand. You start to gauge what you can do season ticket wise and everything else. So these are all important things. Everything that I heard, it was a great time.
It was fantastic. There were so many. There's not many times that I get out hockey nerded. And when I do, I love it, because there were so many jerseys from like the previous women's leagues that folks had, like prior to the PWHL, and just like really old school Olympic jerseys. I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I heard the only drawback from game day was that Hockey Princess would not go by and say hi to Abby Murphy. I did hear that one. I think I saw that on X or Y or Z or something like that.
Hey, listen, I did not know where they were, and I was not going to just disturb them. We talk about this show on Don't Be Weird.
That's a time when you can be weird. They want you to be weird at that point in time. They want the buzz. So there, I'm just kidding anyways.
But anyway, so it was a very, very fun game. Once again, shout out to Babes for getting Party Bus. Made the whole day a lot easier, not having to worry about how to get out to the All-State. And yeah, it was just very fun. And so very excited to see the other two teams come March.
And I'll give a big shout out to Kendall, who's
been
phenomenal in drumming up support and what she gives back, and her accessibility with her time to promote this game is awesome to see. So another little shout out to her.
Absolutely. We love Kendall. All right. Getting to prospect report. Like I said last week, we don't have a ton just because college kids are on break. So they won't play till the beginning of the year. But you've got one assist for Jack Pridham out of the Kitchener Rangers. Ty Henry committed to St. Thomas, so he will be jumping from Erie Otters to college. One goal for Nathan Bem out of the Kamloops Blazers. Nothing for Brantford. No reason to freak out. Like we said with the World Juniors, because Vanaker was up with World Juniors, and then we'll probably be back on the stat sheet next week. And then you've got a Roman Kanserov with 40 points in 35 games in the KHL. And then also one of our prospects, Adam Guyon, goaltender for University of Minnesota Duluth, will be competing in the Spengler Cup during this kind of in-between World Juniors period. To my understanding, it's kind of like for older guys and kids that have aged out of playing in World Juniors. So he will be getting some ice time during the Christmas break in net for Slovakia. And so should be another opportunity to get to see him play too.
Okay.
Jumping over to Rockford, we have a split this weekend. Massive win Saturday, which included a savvy goal. But Saturday's game, everybody was scoring. I believe they beat Manitoba 7-3. They had back-to-back, so it was a Saturday and a Sunday, both up in Manitoba with our friends in Winnipeg with their good breakfast fried chicken. Incredible, gnarly fight between Boucher and I forget what the guy's name is from Manitoba. It was like 50 or 60 something punches. Blood everywhere, very meatheady fight.
Oh, it was one of the best calls that I've heard. I did see a little bit of a clip in it, and anybody you can use. And up, Buum seems to be leaking. I'm telling you, I love that call. It's not used very often, but I love instead of blood is being spilled, he's leaking. Oh, it was a phenomenal fight call by whoever did that. So I would look that up on the YouTube.
Well, if it's Rockford, it's Dana Gray.
I don't know if it was the Rockford call or not. I'd have to look at it.
Okay.
I am unsure. It's on my website thing where I go, so you could maybe see if it's Dana or not. I think I would have recognized the voice more, but maybe not.
Because I would say with Rockford, it's usually Dana Gray and or our friend Paul Ledwinski, who's just become a personality up in the box during his recovery. And then Ice Hogs fall to Manitoba on Sunday. So they've got a split. I'm not going to keep beating the dead horse about either of these teams, really. But, at least they were able to come out with a split and not just 2 losses up in Manitoba. And then we haven't really talked about it, but they'll have their own gap slightly around the Olympic break as well. They've got the AHL All-Star break, which will give them about a week and a half of a break. AHL All-Star is going to be in Rockford this year. You've got Patrick Sharp and Chris Versteeg as the honorary captains for the AHL All-Star games. But that will be a break for most, probably not like Kevin Korchinski or Brett Sini. I would imagine those are the guys that go. But yeah, that is Rockford.
Yeah, and the All-Star game might be something neat to see. And it'll be always nice to hear from Versteeg. So,
oh, absolutely, Krusty, it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. I was gonna do the math.
We don't need to do math. We don't need numbers.
I was gonna do the math before the show started, and then I decided not to. But as we've talked on this show ad nauseum about discarding the first 15 games and also the easy schedule, I am pretty sure that when we look past those 15 games, this is not a very good team. And what's going to be lost in all of this is the thought process that they're just awful because Bedard's out and now Nazar's out. No, they were starting to become awful before then, with both of them. Yeah. So it's a reminder that we're still far away, probably. I mean, I actually got caught up in a little bit of it. I was starting to get a little, but
I know you were giving me grief for not drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, Krusty points out everything, but then this has been a long drought, and I need good tidings also at times. But yeah, the schedule was set up. Now you're seeing them have a little bit more of the condensed schedule. We still haven't won a game on back-to-backs. Not the first game, not the second game. So you'll have one more chance at that after Christmas. So we'll see. It's really bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's so bad. It's not bad enough where I'm on the miserable for McKenna train. I'm going to be honest. And I will chirp at anyone around me who does loudly get on the miserable for McKenna train, because losing breeds losing. And I don't like that. We already had one draft rigged for us. Don't need another one. It's bad. I don't know what else to say.
Well, we've got games to talk about, don't we? What games do we have to talk about?
They went to Canada and lost a lot. Well, we spoke after the Toronto game, so we don't have to rehash the Toronto game. Montreal, I used to not hate the Habs, and now they're just so good. I get a little annoyed. there were a lot of coaching challenges and a lot of goals overturned very quickly.
Yeah. One of the things that Krusty hates the most, I hate the coach's challenge. I hate the review. I believe at the end of the day, if you look at everybody's points, it would be no different if we didn't challenge or review anything.
Well, then,
I
Christy,
think it
you
would
would
all even
love
up.
the PWHL.
Yes.
They don't have it. You can't
Yes.
challenge.
And why I say that, it is awful in the arena. It is just awful. It slows the game to a halt. In that game in Montreal, it really slid it to a halt.
I was talking with our Washington Capitals enthusiast. I wish it was kind of like, to my understanding, this is how football is. Listeners, I understand very little about the concept of football, but like, you get a certain amount, or do you get a certain amount of challenges? I think in hockey, you should get one per game, per team, and that's just it.
I don't believe you get more than one. I believe if you lose the challenge, I don't think you can continue to challenge. I'm unsure though. I'll have to check on that.
Mm.
I think you do get the challenge again, even if you.
Yeah. I think there should be a limit.
Either way, it was equal for each team, getting goals taken away, this and that. At the end of the day, they were completely outplayed.
Yep.
That was a rough one. They're starting to run into that problem, especially anybody who's close to as fast as them, the struggle is even worse. They can try to out coast or outspeed teams that aren't as close to them, but if they're close to them, and I just, there's not much there. Yes, Hockey Princess.
I'm gonna be so honest, guys. I did not watch the Senators game. So I don't know if this stayed the same. Krusty's gonna correct me if it didn't. Can we be done with the kid line now? No shame to those kids. I like Lardis. I like Moore. We love not Oliver Green. We love Ryan Green on the show. That line is not working yet. I think there's maybe a possibility when they have a bit more under their belt in the NHL that it could work, because somewhat understand the reasoning for it. It's not working.
No, it's not. I don't know what they do with everything now that NASCAR is not playing. Ryan Green becomes your top line center, I would assume.
That's what it was for practice today.
With the Barracuda, and I mean, you can take your pick. You put Tavo, put Bert. It doesn't matter. The Ottawa game was also slightly disturbing. Bloom got ran early and often. And what we saw in the first 15 games were people sticking up when you went after the Hawks. There was none of that in Ottawa. There was a little bit of pushback after the first. I thought they at least brought their physicality up a little bit.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you've got to take the 2-minute penalty, especially now. Points don't matter. You need to start sticking up for that guy. He was beaten on, and you can't have that. I am talking directly to Creature. You're 6'8". You're playing defense like Eric Daze. I don't think you last in the league if you do that. I liked the fight when you were able to hold two people at the end of the game and they couldn't move. I understand that. But I need you to get mean. Okay. And what I'm seeing right now, especially from this defensive core, is there's no meanness. So I don't know if that means you send Creature down, you send Artie down, you send somebody down and maybe bring up a Nolan Allen or whatever else. But I need a little bit more physicality. He's getting more traction about wanting to be called up. I'd like him here just to be called up for his heart.
You know who wouldn't have taken any of that shit during the Ottawa game? This kid.
Yeah, I mean,
I guarantee it.
They rose to the occasion a little bit physically, but not near enough. Ottawa's a big physical team. They play nasty. They play to the edge. They're all over the goaltender. At some point in time, you have to turn your meathead on. And that's either, hey, just drop somebody. Okay, take the 2-minute penalty and just drop somebody, or you run their goaltender. Okay, you do I was trying to turn. I didn't mean to go face first into you. Again, that's not the way the game's played that much anymore, and I try to tone down my meatheadness because it's not really necessary, but it's going to be a long season now. And the one for all and sticking up for everybody, that seems to have gone away. Maybe that's just that their future captain is out. And, that's what I could hope for. But when he returns, when the Beacon of Hope returns, I hope he addresses the team on it. That, hey, we've said we're not going to be pushed around. Whether I'm in the lineup or not, we can't be pushed around. And as I said, especially now, you're not playing to win games. You're planning to, you're just trying to grow a better culture. And you've got to be a little bit more physical. The defensemen we don't have anybody that plays that hard. I mean, it's not part of Vlasic's game. It doesn't seem to be a lot of Creature's game. And it needs to be a part of Artie's game at some point in time. But I'll take a pass on the 20-year-old and say, I expect, as I've said before, 2 more years, he'll start using his body much better. That's all you can say. You were down another forward. You're down your 2 best offensive players. There's only so much you can do. There was at least a little bit of a pushback, but I didn't like the response with everybody around Bloom all the time.
Yeah.
And that game was not Bloom's fault.
No.
So the defensive structure was just awful. There's a lot of going back to the drawing board. I don't think that'll happen before the game tomorrow, but
why not throw it in a blender?
He might throw out the blender, and I don't know what he does line wise, but I think they'll wait and then they'll really start practicing hard and addressing things after the break. And then I think you play Saturday and Sunday, don't you? Right after the break?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So again, an unfortunate thing with NASCAR. I would assume, I haven't been told what it is, but I've got to figure a broken cheekbone. There's broken something, because that's the only reason somebody takes 4 weeks off. And usually that means it's close to the eye, because that's the thing you worry about.
Yeah.
If it's a jaw, these guys get wired up and they're back. But if it's, that eye thing, you only get 2 of those. And as a hockey player, you need both. So it's going to be very, it just is. Let's face the facts. They're not a deep team. They're not an unbelievably talented team. And when you take away your top 2 offensive talents, there's a gap there. But you can still always play mean and nasty. It's just, I don't know if we have enough of that.
Sounds like.
Yes, I'm all for Savoy being called up.
Well, that, obviously. Savvy needs to be called up with all of these injuries.
Oh, you're going to bash the bash and pop. Is that what you're going to do?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've made your shtick at the beginning of the year. We're all pulling from the same rope. It's one for all. And now it's falling. Yes, I understand part of that's got to be, your captain's out, your future captain's out, Frank Nazar's out. But that's still, at least to my understanding, a part of the coach's job is when that starts to falter to, be a voice in the room for that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that thing that we call accountability that needs to be there probably a little bit more. I think it was addressed a little bit. It was a very soft game in Montreal. A lot of reaching with your stick and trying to go around what he used to call the poke and hope. That was very relevant in the Montreal game. I thought it was less in the Ottawa game. So that's a plus. Your accountability and how much you grind these kids now and the veterans becomes a very difficult balancing act because you suck. And it's a fine line going too far, and the team just stops listening and folds. So I understand that they're professionals. It should never happen, but I'm telling you, it happens in this league all the time. Just ask the Calgary Flames. Just ask the Vancouver Canuck fans.
Hey,
it happens.
The Canucks and the Flames are on a heater right now. The Calgary Flames are back in playoff contention.
But I'm talking the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's just all of a sudden, and you lose the whole team. And I'm sure that's a concern of Bash's. I'm not giving him a complete free pass. As I said, this team needs to be a little bit more physical. And I think you need to start ingraining that into them a little bit. I understand that in this system, we play a lot of man-to-man, and it's difficult to play physical because if you go to put a body on somebody and they turn and get away from you, you have complete breakdown. But I need something. We'll see, how things go at the end of the break. There's also a lot of screaming and yelling about Bloom.
Which, calm down.
Yeah,
and it didn't start this year. It's the same jamokes that have been wanting his head on a platter since he got pulled up too early from Rockford or whatever. Calm down. But that's just me. I'm a firm believer if the goaltender's having bad time, there's also 5 other guys on the ice in front of him. So it's not just Bloom. It's everybody. Everybody's a mess right now.
Yes.
It's all very messy. It's not Bloom. It's not Spencer. It's not whatever guy is in the net, because guess what? He's not the only one out there. And there's been games where I've watched, and sometimes it feels like he is the only one out there.
Yeah, there are way too many grade A chances in between the dots that can't happen. Anybody who's that close in between the dots and is able to elevate to a corner is going to be the goaltender. It's just the way it is. They can't take away all of it. So you take away from the ground up. So if you're able to pick a corner, you're going to beat them because they don't have the time to react. And the amount of players that were left free in there was frightening. There was a lot of defensive breakdowns in the Montreal game. I mean, not the Montreal game, in the Ottawa game. The Montreal game, I firmly believe, just completely outworked, out-hustled, out everything, which can't happen. And the Ottawa game was just more, there was breakdowns, there was losing battles. So, I mean, we can't just sit here and bash everything, can we? I thought Doc had an awful game in Montreal, and I thought he played better.
We can't sit here and bash people, but let me continue to bash people.
You caught that. With that being said, I thought he came back and played pretty well in Ottawa. And he was one of the few people playing physical and taking a pound for a pound. So what they do with everything, I don't know. Foligno's coming back, so I don't know if that means Savoie comes up. They are hooked.
This is the answer, Kyle. This is the answer. Things are crumbling. We're losing hope. We're losing heart. This is the answer. It may not fix problems, but gosh darn it, calling up Sam Savoie would make it so much more entertaining to watch.
Yes, it would. There's also been talk about Lardass's minutes and going. He went down to the fourth line, and some of that is protection. Again, Ottawa's a big bad team, and that's a guy just learning how to play at the professional level with any kind of physicality. So let's not go
that, but if Bash and Pop can just phrase it differently, I think I would be less frustrated.
Yeah, I don't need it phrased or anything. If he wants to play him on the fourth line and they think him just being up is worth it, and to take him away from the big nasties on the top two lines of an opposing team, so be it. Whatever they think they need to do, they're at a rough time here. This is Christmas time. This was a group of games that were circled to really grow this team as far as, outsiders getting on a bandwagon and this and that. And that has just collapsed. So I don't know where they go. I don't know if you have the lines from practice. I didn't look those up today. Do you have those? She's going to go get those. That's excellent. Don't lose hope. I would assume now that you're a bottom 7 team, go ahead, Hockey Princess.
Top line, Bertuzzi, Green, Burakovsky. Second line, Moore, Donato, Lardis. Third line, Foligno, Dickinson, Mickey Mouse. Fourth line, Doc, Tony Nato, Lafferty. Your pairings for defensemen go Pickle, Creature, Grislick, Artie, Kaiser, Murph. EDM is the odd man out. Tavo was not. Tavo took maintenance day just because there was a wacky block shot off of the foot during the Ottawa game, but he's fine. And then Foligno is still labeled as day-to-day. So Kyle, there's one, just give him one game before Christmas. Give him an early Christmas present. You do this with the defenseman all the time. Just give him one game, and then I will shut up.
That's all Hockey Princess wants for Christmas.
That's all that I wanted for 3 years.
See Savoie tomorrow.
Please, Kyle.
Yeah. So the lines I don't have a problem with. Foligno won't be on that third line, no matter what. That can't happen. Just because that third line we use as our check. They go up against the big boys, and Foligno he doesn't have the wheels and is not good enough defensively to.
Well, and coming back from broken hand, that's not the line that you want to put him on anyway.
So that works. That Tavo comes back into his usual spot on the third, and then Flo is down on the fourth line. That's all good. It's gut check time. You've still got enough talent to play respectable.
Yeah.
It's a lot on Ryan Green's plate, but oh well. You're just going to have to, and more, stay on your skates, please. But listening to the NASCAR and Beacon of Hope interview with Friedman from 32 Thoughts, I don't think Moore is going anywhere. I think the three of them are thick as thieves. So I think we're still in a growth period with Kyle Davidson where we're just going to be nice. Let's all just get along, and that'll probably happen for another year. But at some point in time, just like Ottawa's done and other teams have done, hey, you move friends. Because if you're not winning, I don't care how many friends you have.
That is true.
I need production on the ice.
But also, like we said last year, we're bad, but at least we've got some of the kids to watch. That was the big thing that we talked about for the past couple of years. If it was just like we were bad and we're not even seeing like our prospects, at least the kids are starting to come up. Are some of them a premature yank? Sure, but it needed because of injury. And there's some that I would just rather see. Like if we're going to lose 6-2, I'd rather watch some of these younger kids. than call up a Joey Anderson. No offense to Joey. But it's just gotten to that point where I would just rather see the prospects. So we're losing. It's bad, but at least I'm watching younger kids struggle to figure out the scope of the NHL than just like Connor's first year up here.
Correct. But that's a double-edged sword. I was under the impression the plan was to start to win in Rockford.
No plan.
That's not part of the plan right now. If that was part of the plan, Moore would still be down there. You would bring up a Joey Anderson. So I think we're doing a lot of stuff on the fly. We are unsure. We're just hoping this clicks.
And we're just
at
hoping
some point in time
that we get a savvy call up before I'm dead.
Yeah, well, we'll see. You still have the trade deadline. I mean, most people will be gone at that too. So I would assume he gets called up then. Again, but it seems, this is another product of a teardown rebuild. Is you've given away so much thing you have. Once it starts to accumulate a little bit, you still have no depth.
Yeah. And
right now we have no depth. There's better prospects coming. You'll be able to watch some of them in World Juniors.
Highly recommend.
So I
go Finland, go Sweden,
go USA. I need to see some heart, and I will start to get on 55 a little bit. I need more. I expect great things from Artie, and I will start to voice my opinion on this show for it. And I also need him to be developed more, and I'm unsure if that's happening.
That sounds like a Bash and Pop problem. Yeah, it's bad, but hopefully it will get better. And if not,
we're going to do a much better show next week. I can tell you that, because we could just talk about Christmas things or whatever. Because I apologize to our listeners, because in the last 7 minutes, I'm sure we've said bad like 20 times. So I'm going to make a concerted effort to stop that. I apologize for it. Things will be better. Let's go get a win tomorrow night and
please
and make things better a little bit. This is a winnable game. I don't have much else to say except wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Everybody be safe. Remember, if you've got loved ones that you are with, go give them a big ass hug, because nothing's guaranteed in this world. So if you need to, if you got people that you love and you haven't said I love you to them in a while, now's the time of year to start doing that.
True. And Krusty, we are
not. I love you, Hockey Princess.
Oh, thank you. I love you too, Krusty. We are not at 15 yet, but you have gotten chirped quite a bit about the Abby Murphy jersey.
That's all good and fine, but I don't fold because I'm getting bullied. I am a bully. Okay? So the people that are bullying me, I don't care.
Well, you wanted encouragement.
I wanted encouragement. I didn't want bullying. I didn't want to be called cheap.
Well, if there's one thing that we know, Krusty, it's that you are cheap.
Well, not really. I have a pretty expensive hockey lifestyle.
That is true.
Okay. So yes, I will not be getting it unless we get to the 15. And I really do want an Abby Murphy USA jersey. So your listeners, let's get on that.
Yeah. All right.
Do we have anything that they were yelling at me that we can say on the air?
Well, we got the calling you cheap. That
which I appreciate. I appreciate
jerseys last a lifetime. Get just a lot of go get the jersey, Krusty.
Okay, I love that encouragement. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Well, that's all that we've got for this week. Just as a reminder, friends, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. Like we said, this is going to come out a little bit earlier, and then next week is also going to come out a little bit earlier because Krusty and I are going to Detroit for New Year's because there's hockey there, which should be very fun. I've never been to Detroit. So this week will come out early. Next week will come out early too. That is all. And we will talk at you guys next week.